Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is James Johnson aka Sulfurblade, and I'm here with a review video and first look of Farming Simulator 19. We'll go ahead and start a new career. I'm going to use my next saved game, and I'm going to click on Start from Scratch. We have two maps to choose from. We have Ravenport and or Fellsbrunn. Ravenport, I believe, is in the US, and Fellsbrunn is somewhere in Europe. We have character customization. I suppose it's improved since Farming Simulator 13, 15, and 17. But not a whole heck of a lot. You have character 1, which is a white guy. Character 2, which is an Asian. Character 3, which is a black individual. Character 4 is another version of a white guy. Character 5 now, we have a female. Another female, a black female, and another female. And so we have, you know, the same diversity, if you will, but not very diverse at all. The character 1 and character 4, neither of them, in my opinion, truly represent me. As you know, I would like to make a character look different than these guys. If I was, you know, of various different heritages, I'm sure that the one other character available to them isn't going to quite suffice what they would like their character to look like. So, from a character creation standpoint, Farming Simulator 19 is still woefully lacking, but at least we could change some colors of shirts, and we have a whole lot of different hats to choose from, which is cool. And to be honest, you don't really see your character in game all that much. Now let's go ahead and load into Ravensport. So I started with nothing. That's what the start says it is the hardest start, in which you start with nothing. Which is kind of a cool thing I like about the new Farming Simulator, is that you actually start with farms that don't have any buildings, and you need to build said buildings. There are some issues. We'll go into that once the game loads in. Alright, so here we are in Ravensport. It says I only have enough money to start a small farm. First, buy some land, buildings, and necessary tools, and sell your products and expand your farm. Sounds simple enough, right? Well, look, I started with $500,000. That's a bit more than nothing. Quite a bit more than nothing, for a matter of fact. So this is the start, the hard start. And in the hard start, you actually start with $500,000 and nothing else. In the farm manager start, you start off with, I think, what, $1.5 million and nothing else? So really, the difference between this start and the farm manager start is $1 million, which is actually quite a bit of money, but I was really expecting to start with less in the hard start. 500,000, well, it can go a long ways. You could do a lot of things with 500,000. Maybe more than what I might like. I would like to have, well, a harder start, if you will. This is a bit easier than I had expected. Now, some of the cool things about the new farming simulator is you start without owning any land whatsoever, no buildings whatsoever, no vehicles whatsoever, and that's awesome. I'm just a a poor guy with $500,000 in his pocket, which isn't quite poor. But so here we are. We're looking at Ravensport, and you can tell that this spot on the map is kind of, well, designed for you to build your farm. You've got this random flagpole over here waving in the wind. You've got all of this clear dirt area around. It just kind of screams build on me. And on the other map, you have a similar location that you start at that kind of screams build on me as well. So I take issues with this, and here's why. When I play Farming Simulator, I do it from a multiplayer perspective. And from a multiplayer perspective, I've always wanted competitive farming. And that's one of the reasons I love the new Farming Simulator 19. It gets 2 huge thumbs up in that now we can finally have more than one farm. In fact, you can have 4 farms on a map, which means all of my friends can go start their own farms, they can buy their own equipment, they can do their own things, they can weed and harvest and spray and cut trees and whatever they want at their own leisure, at their own time, at their own pace. And it's not on me. If their plants die, their plants die. So we can enjoy seeing how the different strategies unfold. My one friend did that, my other friend did that, my other friend did that. And hey, that friend is way ahead of us. He's got a lot more money because, well, he decided to do it this way. And that's interesting. That is what I've been wanting out of Farming Simulator for a long time. But that kind of, well, it doesn't work together very well with the maps, which are designed to have this one obvious spot to put a farm. And no others like that. So the other spots, you can figure out places to put farms if you're creative, and I like the rest of the map where you can figure out where to put your farm. That's more interesting to me than having this already pre-designed location for someone to put a farm. It feels like an unfair advantage in multiplayer for the person that starts here because, well, their farm is going to look cooler because they've got the nice waterfall in the background and the cool flag waving here and you know, all this stuff that is obviously designed for the purposes of single player, maybe? Or, well, it's obviously designed for a player to want to put a farm here. If maybe they would have done this 4 times over on the map, put 4 locations like this, I'd be less upset about it. But having 1 location in a game that now finally sports 4 farms in multiplayer, well, it seems off. Which is making me wonder, when people start modding this game and creating more maps, are they going to work in multiplayer? Hopefully they will, because I can't wait to see some new maps that are better designed for multiple farms. With that being said, look around. I mean, this is pretty beautiful map. I'm impressed with it. I've been all over it so far, and I've seen some really cool things, from a dam to cargo ships out in the ocean. However, this is supposed to be Pennsylvania, right? And where'd the ocean come from, and why are there cargo ships? But you know, we'll take that as we take that, right? But there's some cool things here. In Farming Simulator 19, we have new stuff. The new stuff is always nice, especially when you're running a game that's gone from Farming Simulator 13, 15, 17 to now 19, and it has often been plagued by not changing much. Many of the reviews that will undoubtedly come out about Farming Simulator 19 is that it's just a reskin of Farming Simulator 17, which was just a reskin of 15, so on and so forth. And there is some truth to that viewpoint. The graphics have slowly evolved. The game has generally been a reskin for the most part through the years, but Farming Simulator 19 seems like it's been a reskin that has evolved. Like, I don't remember many of these features that are 19 in Farming Simulator 13, though there are quite a few features from 17. So you could say that the games have evolved with time, and maybe for the better, maybe for the worse. With what they've done in 19, I'm very happy. I'm very happy about the multiplayer environment and being able to play with my friends across multiple farms in a competitive style, or just, being able to play with my friends non-competitive, but not having to worry that they're mucking my stuff up, or vice versa. That's awesome. Being able to go buy what you want without having to have a decision amongst the group of, do we really need that? Oh, that was a bad investment. Now, whoever can buy whatever because it's their dollar, and there is no need to second guess, and that's great. But anyway, let's start moving on to some of the new features of Farming Simulator 19. We have horses in Farming Simulator 19, and horses are a placeable, well, where you store them in the horse paddocks are placeable objects. And you have a large paddock and a smaller paddock. Horses require a certain amount of upkeep. You need to bring them oats and hay and water so that they can survive, and then you also need to train them, i.e. you need to ride them so much every day to improve the horse, and that is what creates the value of the horse. So you could train horses literally by riding horses daily inside of the game, and you can develop the horses that way and make money off of horses, which is a cool new feature within Farming Simulator 19 that hasn't existed before. You have dogs now in Farming Simulator 19. You have the ability to completely build your farm the way you want it. You can put the barn here, you can put the shed there, you can put the silos there. I mean, now you can have the farm of what you envision in your mind, because you're literally putting the placeable buildings where you want to place them. That's very cool. It seems like Giants have gone and stuck a mine probe into my mind about all the things I've been very disappointed with Farming Simulator through the years about not having, and fixed it for Farming Simulator 19. So I am really happy about 19. I was not very happy about 17 and 15. Uh, in fact, I preferred Farming Simulator 13 over 15 and 17 for a long time. And here we are with 19 finally being what I consider a step forward in the right direction. With that being said, there is one major issue that I have with Farming Simulator 19 that I've had with all farming simulators before that, except for 13 to an extent. In Farming Simulator 13, I loved how you started with the old equipment. It felt, well, right. It felt correct. That is, farming simulator games, I think, give a false impression of what farming is like in general. Mom and pop farms, your average Joe who's trying to make ends meet somewhere in backwater, rural countryside of the U.S. or wherever. He's not going to be running around with $1.5 million combines and tractors and this and that, like the game portrays farming to be. This game portrays farming as everything is brand spanking new and very expensive, which anything that is brand spanking new is actually very expensive in real life, and that type of investment is a huge investment. You don't just get a combine and then sell it the next year. You get a combine to last many seasons to get your value out of the investment. And when combines are so expensive, can you get the value out of the investment? It takes a lot of oats and a lot of wheat and a lot of corn and barley to pay off said equipment. So with that being said, Farming Simulator 13, it felt correct. You started off with that old combine, you started off with those old tractors, and you really felt like a farmer. The other farming simulators since really haven't encaptured that feeling for me. Farming Simulator 19, yet again, doesn't encapture that feeling, but at least there's progression, and there's a different type of progression in that you don't have a farm. You don't have anything. You have to place the farm and everything from scratch. So, from that standpoint, progression is a new in Farming Simulator for me, but I miss the old stuff that made the game feel like true progression, like Farming Simulator 13 had. The perfect farming simulator game would be a mix of 19 and 13. Maybe modders will create some old farming equipment for Farming Simulator 19, and that will bring that needed attribute back to this game for me. Let's hope. But overall, what I really have to say about Farming Simulator 19 is very positive. I'm very happy with the direction they've taken. I'm giving it 2 thumbs up. I am smiling in real life, and I am happy about the direction that Farming Simulator 19 has gone, and I think I've probably said that several times now. So my general consensus or review of the game is it's one you want to buy. It's yeah, it might be a bit of a reskin, but all Farming Simulator games have been that way. But if you're into the multiplayer environment and you've always wanted to be able to farm with your friends without having to have a committee to figure out what tractor to buy, with all your friends having their own wallets and their own bank accounts and their own farms, well, we finally have that in Farming Simulator, and that is such a big deal as far as I'm concerned. It brings this game, which has always been a good game, it brings it to that next level. Every time a new farming simulator game would come out, my friends and I would get together and we would play it for, a month, and we'd stop. And at the end of the month, we would always say, God, I wish that we could play Farming Simulator competitive. I wish we could have our own farms. I wish that we could do this and this and this, and now we can. So we'll see. Will Farming Simulator now be more than a week or a month long process for us? Will this be something that adapts into a much longer term game? And I'm excited about that prospect because now we finally have the competitive multiplayer farming that we've always wanted. And so Giants, I give you a huge thank you. If any of you ever watch this video, it's about frickin' time, guys. It's about time. Now, if you can get back to me on the old farming equipment, giving us old equipment, that would be wonderful. And lastly, there's one thing I've forgotten to talk about in this video, and that is we finally got John Deere equipment. I'm so happy about that. I can now finally buy tractors that I want to buy. And that's cool. It's always nice to be able to buy equipment in a game that you would in real life. And so now we have John Deere, and that's a good thing. Anyway, I think I've done enough rambling. Again, this is my review videos are more of a am I happy, is the game fun type aspect. I think that's what review videos should be. Does the game make you happy? Do you enjoy it? Is it fun? I'm not here to explain the details of the game. I'm not here to explain how the new weed system and the new fertilizing systems enhance or detract from the gameplay. Those are gameplay elements. Those are for you to decide when you play the game and figure it out. I'm here just to tell you of a first-hand impression of the overall large mechanics and how it reflects to me as the person talking about it. And for me, I'm quite happy. If the topics I've talked about are not that important to you, you might want to stay away from the game. But if you've always wanted good multiplayer in Farming Simulator, well, now you might finally be able to get it. Anyway, something looks odd about this flag over here. Oh, that's just because I had the flagpole right in front of the radio tower, so it looked like the radio tower in the background was part of the flagpole. So the flag looked like it was at half mast. That's funny. Okay, so anyway, I'm rambling and getting off track here. Guys, this is Farming Simulator 19. I hope this video had some sort of relevance to you. Maybe it will be useful for you to try to make a decision about Farming Simulator 19 going forward. Again, it's not a huge change. They've added horses, they've added multiple farms, they've added dogs, they've created farming so that you build them from scratch. You actually place the buildings, and the rest of the game really is a reskin. It's the same Farming Simulator that it was in 17 and 15. There is more equipment. Obviously, each year the equipment pool gets larger and larger and more diverse. But yeah, if you're looking for something revolutionarily new, this isn't it. But if you're happy with the things I've pointed out, well, you might want to give this game a try. Anyway, this has been James Johnson, aka Sulfurblade, and I hope you guys have a great day. Peace.